Do you go on Instagram or TikTok to see beautifully toned females and wish you looked like them? Are you training and instead of looking fit and toned, you're looking kind of flat instead? Are you killing yourself on that diet without much results? I get it. I've been there and it's downright frustrating. That's why in today's episode, I'm going to explain why fasting and eating low carb are not helping you, the potential dangers of them, and what you can do instead. So tighten your ponytail, grab yourself a smoothie, and let's go. Tired of feeling exhausted after training? Confused about how to fuel your body without all the food rules? Welcome to Female Sports Nutrition, where I'll help you fuel strong, build muscle, and perform your best, all while breaking free from diet culture. I'm Kristen, a sports dietitian, trainer, and Jesus lover, and I'm here to help you fuel with freedom. Lace up your shoes, grab that smoothie, and let's jump in. Are you ready to fuel your body, build muscle, and boost your performance without having to diet at the same time? Are you looking for a tribe of positive, motivating, and uplifting women that will help you when you're struggling? Join my Facebook group, Female Sports Nutrition. Inside, you'll get meal prep and planning hacks, sports nutrition guidance without selling your soul to diet culture, accountability, and a supportive group to share your wins with. What are you waiting for? Join this Female Sports Nutrition Facebook group and get a free gift while you're there. I'll drop the link below for you. So many years ago, back when I was in college, I was always looking at female athletes on the cover of magazines, fitness magazines, and I always was so envious of them. I wanted to look like them. They were just so muscular, but in a good way, not, like a bodybuilder type way. They looked just beautiful. They had beautiful curves. They looked strong. They looked fit, fueled, healthy, and I really wanted to look like them. And I had no idea how to look like them. So what I wound up doing was thinking, well, I have to lose fat. I have to look toned. So clearly I need to lose body fat. How do I lose body fat? I am going to do a ton of cardio. I'm going to cut back on my carbs and I'm going to cut back on my food. And about that time, intermittent fasting was coming out as a new way to control your weight. And so I actually dabbled in that a little bit. I honestly did not like it. I did not like not being able to eat all day long. I just felt very deprived. But what I did do was I really did cut back on how much I was eating, and I really cut back on my carbohydrates, and I just did a ton of cardio. And you want to know what wound up happening? I did not look toned. I did not look muscular. I didn't look fit. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't look healthy. I actually started feeling rather bad and I started looking pretty sick. I actually had people asking me, are you okay? You look kind of pale. You don't look so good. And it was because I was basically depriving my body so much. And I did not gain any muscle. I didn't look toned. I just was losing muscle instead. And so let me explain toning real quick. A lot of people use this term toning. I want to look toned. I want to work on toning. And here's the deal. That is not even a real thing. Toning is just losing some body fat if you have body fat to lose and building up muscle. Primarily, it's building up muscle so that you have that muscle to show. That is all toning is. There's no such thing as toning a muscle. It is just building up your muscle so that you can see it under your skin. So today's episode is really all about how to not lose muscle and how to actually instead build muscle so that you get that nice toned look. But first, let's talk about fasting. Intermittent fasting has become this big thing over, let's say, the past 10, maybe even 15 years. It started out as a way for diabetics to control their blood sugar and to keep their hemoglobin A1C down. And then that, of course, got into mainstream fitness culture where people started using that as a way to control their weight. If you've listened to my podcast in the past, you probably have heard me already say that intermittent fasting for females is really not a great idea. And the reason why is because it's going to stress out your body when you're not getting enough food and you're not getting food on a regular basis throughout the day. So if you're not giving your body food on a regular schedule throughout the day, your body never really knows what to expect. And so it kind of stresses it out. And so what winds up happening is your body then releases more cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And then that can cause a whole slew of things, which can actually contribute to more fat gain. And it also is going to mess up with your other hormones, like hormones that are going to be in control of your period. So if you ever want to get pregnant or you want to keep your period, which you should, so that you don't get osteoporosis or osteopenia, or you don't get a stress fracture, things like that, it's really in your best interest to not do intermittent fasting because intermittent fasting really does mess with those hormones so much for females. If you're a male, it's a different story. Males can actually do that. And all the research is really based off of males for intermittent fasting when it's supporting it. For females, it's really not a good idea. And this is the same thing with low carb diets. Low carb diets, yes, you will absolutely lose weight initially, but if you're trying to maintain your muscle mass, what winds up happening is you actually start losing it. And the reason why is because carbohydrates actually get stored in your muscle in the form of glycogen, and it actually helps you to build muscle, and it's also muscle sparing, which means that if you are eating carbohydrates, your body's actually going to use carbohydrates as a fuel source as opposed to your own muscle mass. So if you're not eating enough carbohydrates, your body's actually going to use your own muscle mass as a fuel source as opposed to carbohydrates. We don't want that to happen because now you're not going to look toned. Remember what I said? Toning is just simply building muscle. So if you want to look toned, you want to build muscle, you need to eat carbohydrates in order to build that muscle and in order to keep it there. Not only that, carbohydrates is going to be your body's primary source of energy. So you're going to need that when you're pushing yourself in the gym to build that muscle. And also it's going to help you with a recovery after your training sessions. Same thing with intermittent fasting. If you are fasting around your training sessions, that's not helping you at all. And, there's that whole myth of doing fasted cardio in the morning, working out on an empty stomach is going to help you with losing body fat. That's really not true either. Again, that goes back to your body dumping more cortisol because it's getting stressed out. Cortisol is going to be released in the morning so that it's giving you enough energy to get to food. But when you're not giving it food, well, guess what? Your body's just going to keep dumping more and more cortisol. Not a good idea. So these two things are not going to be your friend, especially if you are a female athlete. And unfortunately, I commonly see them done together where people do ketogenic diet or they do just a low carb diet combined with intermittent fasting. And the problem here is you're really shooting yourself in the foot because you wind up eating sub 1,200, maybe even less than 1,000 calories a day. And initially, yes, it will work to help you to lose body fat, but it's not sustainable. Your body cannot sustain eating such a low amount of food. So what winds up happening is your body's going to figure out how to reset itself or reset its metabolism to sustain on whatever amount of calories that you're eating a day. Let's just say it's 1,000 calories a day. So you're now going to be eating 1,000 calories a day. Well, then when you hit a weight loss plateau, you can't eat any less than 1,000 calories a day because you're already starving. And so what are you going to do? Cut down to 500 calories a day? Not really sustainable. And so then you're stuck in this cycle where, okay, I have to eat 1,000 calories a day because if I eat any more of that, I'm actually going to gain weight, but I can't eat any less than that because I'm really starving already and I feel really deprived. So now I'm just stuck eating 1,000 calories a day. It's a pretty horrible place to be. And I've worked with many clients that are stuck in this situation. And so if you are stuck in that situation right now, what you actually need to do is start slowly increasing your food and stop intermittent fasting. But before we get into what exactly I want you to do to get out of this mess or to get toned without going down that horrible road, is let's talk about why fasting and low carb may not be working. For one, when you eat low carb, you're really not eating a whole lot of fiber, and fiber helps tremendously when you are trying to lose body fat, but it's also going to be so beneficial for your health and especially your gut health. There's so much information that has come out about the gut microbiome. So basically, the levels of bacteria in your gut, the good bacteria versus the bad bacteria. And when you don't have enough fiber in your diet, you are not feeding the good bacteria. And so the bad bacteria starts to take over, and that can really take a toll on your digestion. So you feel it, you start to feel stomach issues, but then it can start to carry over into medical conditions like autoimmune conditions, diabetes, obesity, that type of thing. When you're not eating enough fiber, you don't have enough of that good bacteria, and then you're certainly not going to be eating any probiotics. You're not going to be eating any prebiotics, which is going to help to feed the fiber, which is going to help to feed the good bacteria. So then you start getting into constipation or diarrhea, and then that starts to carry over into your performance. Your performance starts to suffer, and now you're really not able to keep up as well as you could. Females should be eating around 25 grams of fiber per day. If you're not getting in that much, that is one place I would definitely focus your efforts, is trying to get your fiber intake up, because that's going to help everything run a lot more smoothly. And if you do have some fat that you're trying to lose, it'll actually help with that process. Secondly, these diets are going to really take a toll on your vitamin and mineral status. So certain vitamins, particularly those that are found in fruits and vegetables like vitamins C, A, and B vitamins, you're really going to be deficient in them because you're not getting enough of them, because you're getting a lot of those vitamins from carbohydrate sources. They are crucial for immune function, skin health, and energy metabolism. So again, going back to wanting to look toned, it's building some muscle, potentially losing some body fat. And if you are not able to keep up with energy metabolism, you're going to have a hard time getting that toned look. Also, these diets are going to affect your mineral status, so they may result in a reduced intake of minerals such as potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And these minerals are vital for muscle function, nerve transmission, and bone health. So you're really going to be essentially ruining your health by cutting way back on carbohydrates. And here's the other deal. If you are doing a low carb diet and eating a lot of protein, too much protein, your body can sense this. And it's way smarter than we give it credit for. And what it winds up doing is it actually just starts taking those proteins and breaking it down and turning it into glucose, because glucose is the simplest form of carbohydrates. And that's the only thing that your brain can run off of. So if you're not eating enough of them, your body's going to figure out a way to get it. And that's usually by just breaking down protein. And it can also be breaking down your own muscle mass as a result to get that. So let's recap on why female athletes should not be following low carb diets or intermittent fasting. One is we need carbohydrates as a primary energy source. You're going to need that when you're training so that you can push yourself in the gym, so that you can pick up more weight and you can build muscle. Also, you're going to need carbohydrates for glycogen storage. Plus, if you're doing intermittent fasting and you're not eating around your training sessions, you're not going to get that glycogen storage. Plus, you're not going to be getting proper recovery from your training sessions, which means you're going to feel like garbage when it comes to your next training session. Your performance is going to start to decrease. You're not going to be able to lift as much weight, and therefore you're not going to be able to build as much muscle. Carbohydrates we need for muscle preservation, as I mentioned. So if you're not eating enough carbohydrates, your body's going to figure out a way to get it, and it's going to start breaking down your own muscle mass to make that happen. Also, we need carbohydrates and to eat regularly for hormonal balance. Also, mental performance. If you've ever tried to go on a low carb diet or do intermittent fasting, you know it is a mental challenge. Like I said, I tried intermittent fasting when it first came out as myself as a guinea pig, and it was terrible. I felt so deprived not being able to eat all day long. It was just something that I needed, that feeling of chewing something all day. I hated that. Plus, your energy levels are going to tank. Ask me how I know. I've been there. And you're going to have very little variety in your diet. So if you're not eating much in the way of different foods, you're going to really miss out on variety, and you're going to find yourself really bored. And then you're going to feel like, I really can't do this. But at that point, the damage might have already been done, where now you are eating way less than you were before. Your body's kind of reset, and now you have to slowly increase your calories. So let's talk about what you should be doing instead of intermittent fasting and low carb diets. First of all is focus on strength training. Don't do a ton of cardio. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do cardio. Great, go ahead and do cardio, but you really want to focus your efforts on weight training, because weight training is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in terms of building muscle. You need to lift heavy, and you need to incorporate progressive overload in order to build muscle. So making sure that you are changing up your training routine every so often and making sure that you are really pushing yourself in the gym is going to help you with building muscle. Now, that brings me to point number 2. If you are not fueling your body properly, you don't have enough energy to push yourself in the gym. So you have to make sure that you're focusing on getting in a well-balanced diet that is actually going to fuel your muscles. So making sure that you are eating protein, but you're also eating carbohydrates, you're eating healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, and you're getting in hydration. If you don't know how to create a balanced meal plan for yourself, I'm going to link below a podcast episode that I did on how to balance your plate as a female athlete, and that will explain it for you. And if you're still confused, this is the time when I would reach out to me and let's set up a time to chat so we can actually get you on a balanced fueling plan that works well for you. Next up is to listen to your body. This probably sounds like a no-brainer, but so many people have lost that intuition with when they're hungry and when they're full. So if you are getting hungry and you're ignoring that signal, that's a major no-no. That is your body telling you it needs food. So you should feed it. It's like trying to go on a road trip without having any gas in your car. You're not going anywhere. It's the same thing. If you don't have fuel in your tank, you're not going to be able to train and you're not going to be able to push yourself in the gym so that you can build that beautiful muscle. Next up is hydration. You need to make sure that you are hydrating properly throughout the day because this is actually going to help you with building muscle. It's also going to help you with losing body fat if that's part of your goal here. And it's also going to help you with muscle function. So if you are not getting in at least half of your body weight in ounces of fluid per day, start there and then start to build yourself up from there. Last up is a mindset shift. Hear me out on this one. We should be focusing on what are the positive aspects of our body rather than focusing on the negative and setting realistic goals about those things that we want to change and we can change about our bodies. Just because you look at somebody on Instagram that looks amazing does not mean that's what you're going to look like. Your body type may not allow for that. Your genetics may not allow for that. And that is okay. Everybody has their own unique set of features, and we want to maximize those and really focus our efforts on those rather than trying to change the things that we cannot change. So I want you to keep a journal of the things that you do like about yourself and how you can focus your efforts on those rather than, I really want to get rid of the stubborn body fat on my belly. I hear that about 1,000 times over the month from different people. That's not really where you should be focusing your efforts because guess what? When you do all the other things right, that will come. And some people just genetically are not able to have six-pack abs, and that's okay. You're still going to look beautiful and great even if you don't have six-pack abs. You can pick whatever body part you don't like about yourself and insert that there if it's not your abs. But you get the idea. We really want to focus on what are the good things that we like about our bodies and focus on that rather than harping on the negative things and the things that we don't like and setting realistic goals on the things that we can change and think about progress, not perfection. That is a motto that I try to live by. I had a business coach years and years ago that always used to say, progress, not perfection, Kristen. And you know what? It's really something that I've stuck with because it helps me to know like I cannot make everything perfect and that's quite all right, but I'm working towards it and that's all I can do. So let's just recap on the couple things that I want you to do instead of focusing on low carb diets and intermittent fasting. Number 1 is strength training. Number 2 is balanced nutrition, making sure that you're actually fueling your body. Number 3 is listen to your body. When it's hungry, go ahead and feed it. When you're full, stop eating. Number 4 is hydration. And number 5 is that mindset shift. If you are struggling with any of these things, please head on over to my Facebook group, Female Sports Nutrition. Share your struggles with us. And I would love to help you through all this. And there are so many other women that are struggling with the same things as you. So this is not a taboo subject whatsoever. Let's work together to get you healthy and get you toned. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you, encouraged you, or changed you, I would love for you to leave me a review and share it with a girlfriend who will find it helpful or inspiring. That is the best way you can thank me and help me share my knowledge so I can help more people just like you. I'm so thankful that you spent this time with me today and I'd love to connect with you. Join my Facebook group, Female Sports Nutrition, or send me a DM on Instagram, or hop on over to my website, elitenutritionperformance.com. I'll see you back here next week.